So chances are if you clicked on this video or if you're 95% of the population, you don't understand compression. But that's okay, I didn't either for the longest time because it's this elusive thing, right? You use it to control the dynamics, but you can't really hear it. But by the time you do, maybe you've gone too far. But that ends today because I guarantee what I'm gonna show you is gonna transform the way you mix, produce, and just think creatively. And if not, I promise in a few days, I want you to look back, unsubscribe, dislike this video. But if it does, I want you to share it with a friend, share it with your mom, like it, subscribe, whatever. Because in this video, I'm going to show you first the idea on how to get it right, and then specific settings for stems ranging from rock to hip hop to get compression to actually work its magic. Now you might be thinking, what's the catch? Well, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, you could be using this 10 minutes to watch TikTok. But before you click off of this video, I promise you this is a better use of your time if you're actually serious about music. So let's get right into it. Oh, and before you ask, the reason I'm wearing this suit is to build credibility so I can sell you my course. I'm just kidding, I don't have an AI scam plugin to sell you or anything like that. This is just straight value. So what are you looking at right here? Well, this is how pros kind of think about compression, and it's shown in a graph, the in-your-faceness of compression. Basically, you can make certain sounds in the mix sound super far back, and other ones appear exciting, upfront, and energetic. So let's take an example. Let's say you have a stack of doubled vocals, and you want to make them sound thick, and you don't want them to compete with the lead vocal. So you can put a fast attack and then a slow release, and what that's going to do is it's going to instantly clamp down on that transient, and then it's going to keep the compression going until even the next one, and then it's going to clamp down again really fast. What that does is it creates kind of this thick sound, and it makes the sound feel further back. Contrast that to, say, a lead vocal. You want it to be up front, in your face, and exciting. So what do? You find the in-your-face equilibrium. Now this is just an example. The reason these aren't in units is because it totally depends. But what this illustrates is that it's a perfect slowness of the attack to let some of the transient through, but then it compresses and then the release is just fast enough to let the next transient through uncompressed before the slow attack compresses it again. What happens is you get this perfect synergy of what needs to be up front and what needs to be compressed, and you get a synergy of energy. So what you're looking at here is a concrete example of what you can do for vocals. So here I have 3 instances of the 1176 compressor, and they're all doing slightly different things, but this is what I'm using for my excitement and energy in this song. So I'm going to start by showing you what it sounds like with the attack as fast as possible and release as slow as possible on all of these compressors. I'm all cooped up in this cold hard cell. I know this feeling all too well. It sounds kind of pushed back and you can't really hear what the artist is saying, and you don't really know what's going on. You have nothing to focus on. So why does it sound like that? Well, it's because the attack is really fast and the release is really slow. So it's going to create that thick background sound, which is not what we want. So when you start with compression, here's the first thing you do. Put your attack somewhere in the middle, okay? And it's going to differ between plugin. I like these for aggression. I would get this, add it to your arsenal. But to start out, put your attack somewhere in the middle. And for you, that might mean, I don't know, 40 milliseconds. Start somewhere like that. And then you're going to turn these release knobs until it sounds in your face and aggressive. And then you're going to go back and re-hone in on the attack. So I want you guys to listen to how that vocal changes as I turn that release knob. I'm all cooped up in this cold hard cell. I know this feeling all too well. I think I might be in a rut. Oh no, it's fine, I'm going nuts. So there's no telling what I've missed. Right? It sounds completely upfront and energetic comparatively. So based on what we found, it looks like our upfront equilibrium is somewhere around here. Now let's take a listen to these guitars. So I'm going to dial in these settings and then explain to you what's happening. So what I landed on is a pretty fast attack and a pretty fast release. So if we look back at our graph, that's going to look somewhere like this. You're going to get that speed of the attack, but fastness of your release. So you're going to get some of that upfrontness, but it's still going to sound like a thick guitar. So let's go back and listen to how that sounds. And then I'll take it out of solo so you can hear it. By the way, you should never really be mixing in solo for the most part. Okay, there are exceptions, but you should usually want to hear it in the context of the mix. I'm going to start with it bypass, and then I'm going to turn it on. I'm all cooped up in this cold hard cell. I know this feeling all too well. I think I might be in a rut. Oh no, it's fine, I'm going nuts. So there's no telling what I've missed. Well, I've been stuck and man, I'm pissed. I think I might not make the cut. So you can hear that with it off. They're kind of pushed in the background and you can't hear them super well. But then when you turn them on, you get this thick sound that's still up front in your face, but it's like this thick guitar backdrop. So now I'm going to show you this effect on drums, and you're going to see how you can make them sound super energetic or not. Here's how they sound if I have a really fast attack and a really slow release. But watch what happens if I put up the attack, let some of that transient through, this is 30 milliseconds, and then I turn down that release, let's call it 0.3. Right, it's just a little change, but it sounds like they're playing them so much harder. And this is what's amazing about it, is that you can completely change the tone of an instrument. And another thing I want you guys to pay attention to is if I turn that release really fast, you can hear a lot of the room ambience of the drums, and that can be used for a cool effect, or you can turn it down if you want. So listen to this. And for contrast, if your release is super fast and your attack is super fast on something like drums, you're going to lose some of that percussiveness, and it's going to turn more into a thick sound. So for this mix, I dialed in on something like this and this. Now let's take the example of doubles. Here's what the song sounds like with all its effects.
You can't fake the light. Change how you are doing.
But if we take out the lead vocal and the instrumentals, here's what the doubles sound like.
You can't fake the light.
So as you notice, they sound really thick and they sound kind of pushed back. The way that effect was created was by putting the attack at max and then putting the release kind of slow. You contrast that to if you have a fast release and a really slow attack, it sounds like this.
You can't fake the light.
And that sounds cool too, but for this effect I wanted kind of like a really thick sound, so you get kind of more like this.
You can't fake the light.
So for this example, we have this beat. And I'm going to show you what I did for this lead right here. So notice how the attack and release are both really fast. If I had had them slow like this is how it sounds. And then you put that back in the mix and it sounds like this. You can't really hear it that well. What putting the attack and release does is it kind of brings back out that energy of it, and it sounds more like this. Okay, now take a listen to this snare. So let's say I have the attack really fast and the release really slow. This is what it sounds like. You get kind of that whole percussiveness gone. But if I put the attack somewhere like 18 milliseconds and the release, somewhere around here, it just sounds a lot bigger and fuller. Now, listen to what happens if I just turn the release knob. You hear that a fast release puts some of that room tone back in, and that's kind of how you get that. Okay, so to sum up, really that release knob is that magic sauce for the most part, and you need a mix with intention. So if you're hearing something and you want it to be further back in the mix, try using these tricks like a faster attack and a slower release to really make it sound thicker and further back. Now, if you want it to be upfront and exciting and aggressive, try using a slower attack, maybe start with 20-30 milliseconds, hone in from there, and then use that fast release to make it sound super upfront. And that's to say, compression is really a tool to emphasize what you want. And yes, that includes controlling the dynamics, but when you think about it and you have that intention, just think about these kind of frameworks for how you want to compress and try to find that in-your-face equilibrium when you're compressing your next track. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe and comment what you want me to talk about next. And if you didn't find it helpful, just let me know. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day.